What if I gave you $100,000 today and told you that in 10 years, one investment would likely make you significantly wealthier than the other? Would you buy real estate or invest in index funds? This debate has created millionaires on both sides for decades. Some people swear real estate is the greatest wealth building tool ever invented. Others believe index funds are simpler, safer, and mathematically superior over the long run. So today, we're putting them head-to-head. Real estate versus index funds. Which one actually wins over 10 years? And the answer might surprise you. Let's start with the basics. Real estate means buying physical property, usually houses, apartments, commercial buildings, or rental properties. Index funds, on the other hand, are investments that track the stock market. Instead of buying individual companies, you buy a tiny piece of hundreds, sometimes thousands, of businesses at once. Think of an S&P 500 index fund. When the biggest companies in America grow, your investment grows too. Simple. Now, at first glance, both seem like excellent investments. And honestly, both can absolutely build wealth, but they do it in very different ways. So let's compare them category by category. Starting with returns. Historically, the U.S. stock market has returned roughly 8 to 10% annually over long periods when dividends are reinvested. That means if you invested $100,000 into index funds earning 10% annually, after 10 years, you'd have around $259,000 without adding another dollar. That's the power of compound growth. Your money begins making money on top of money already earned. Now, real estate is more complicated because returns come from multiple places: property appreciation, rental income, tax advantages, and leverage. And leverage changes everything. Here's why. Imagine you buy a $500,000 rental property with a 20% down payment. You only invest $100,000 of your own money. But if the property increases in value by 5%, you're gaining appreciation on the entire $500,000 asset, not just your original investment. That's one reason real estate investors become wealthy so aggressively. They control large assets using borrowed money. And when property prices rise, leverage magnifies gains dramatically. But there's another side to leverage. It also magnifies risk. If property values drop, or tenants stop paying rent, or interest rates rise, things can get ugly very quickly. Meanwhile, index funds don't involve debt unless you intentionally use margin, which most investors don't. That makes them much simpler and generally less stressful. And simplicity matters more than most people realize. Now let's talk about cash flow. This is where real estate becomes extremely attractive. Real estate often offers higher upside potential, but also more complexity and risk. Index funds offer smoother, more predictable long-term growth. And historically, consistency wins more often than excitement. Now let's talk psychology, because investing success is rarely just math. It's behavior. Real estate feels tangible. You can see it, touch it, improve it. People emotionally trust physical property. Stocks feel abstract. Watching markets crash 30% during recessions can terrify investors into panic selling. But real estate investors panic too, especially when mortgages, vacancies, and repairs stack together. Every investment comes with emotional pressure. The real question is, which stress are you personally better equipped to handle? Some people thrive managing properties. Others hate it. Some investors love market investing. Others can't tolerate volatility. Personality matters more than most financial gurus admit. Now here's something important. The best investors often don't choose only one. Many wealthy people combine both. Index funds provide diversification, liquidity, simplicity, and long-term growth. Real estate provides cash flow, leverage, tax advantages, and inflation protection. Together, they can complement each other extremely well, and that may actually be the smartest strategy, because this debate isn't necessarily about finding one perfect winner. It's about understanding trade-offs. Real estate can create massive wealth, but requires more time, effort, risk, and capital. Index funds are easier, cheaper, and historically very reliable, but usually less dramatic in upside potential. So, which wins after 10 years? Honestly, the answer depends less on the investment and more on the investor. The disciplined index investor who consistently invests for 10 years will almost certainly build serious wealth. The skilled real estate investor who manages leverage wisely can potentially build wealth even faster. But the biggest mistake, doing nothing at all. Because whether it's property or index funds, time matters more than perfection. The earlier you start investing, the more powerful compounding becomes. That's the real secret behind long-term wealth. Not chasing perfect investments, but staying invested long enough for growth to multiply. So, if you had $100,000 today, would you buy real estate or invest in index funds? Tell us your strategy in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more investing, business, and financial education content every week. A rental property can generate monthly income while also appreciating over time. For example, rent comes in every month, tenants help pay down the mortgage, and the property may continue rising in value. That creates multiple streams of wealth building simultaneously. Index funds don't really work like that. Yes, they pay dividends, but typically dividend yields are much smaller than rental income cash flow. So if your goal is monthly income, real estate often has the advantage. But there's a catch. Real estate is work. A lot of work. Even with property managers, problems happen constantly. Broken plumbing, roof repairs, bad tenants, vacancy periods, maintenance costs, insurance claims. Meanwhile, index funds require almost no effort. You buy them, hold them, and continue living your life. No midnight phone calls because a water heater exploded. That's one reason many investors prefer index funds. They're passive, extremely passive, and over a 10-year period, that convenience becomes valuable, especially for busy people. Now let's discuss liquidity. This is one of the biggest differences between the two. Index funds are highly liquid. You can sell your investment in seconds during market hours. Need cash tomorrow? No problem. Real estate is completely different. Selling property can take weeks or months, and during economic downturns, sometimes even longer. Plus, there are major transaction costs, agent commissions, closing costs, repairs, taxes. Buying and selling property is expensive. Index funds are incredibly cheap by comparison. Many have expense ratios close to zero. That means more of your money stays invested and compounding. Now let's talk taxes. Because taxes massively affect long-term wealth. Real estate investors receive several powerful tax benefits. Mortgage interest deductions, depreciation, 1,031 exchanges in some countries, expense write-offs. In many situations, real estate income gets favorable tax treatment. That's one reason wealthy investors love property. Index funds also offer tax advantages, especially long-term capital gains rates and tax-advantaged retirement accounts. But real estate tends to provide more aggressive tax optimization opportunities overall. Now here's where things get interesting. Let's compare to hypothetical investors over 10 years. Investor buys index funds. They invest $100,000 into a broad market index fund averaging 10% annual returns. After 10 years, roughly $259,000. Simple, passive, minimal stress. Investor B buys a rental property using leverage. They purchase a $500,000 property using $100,000 down. Over 10 years, the property appreciates, rent increases, tenants pay down mortgage principal, and cash flow accumulates. In a strong market, Investor B could potentially outperform Investor A significantly. But if property values stagnate, maintenance costs explode, or bad financing terms exist, returns may underperform badly. That's the key difference.